just can't deny I'm here.
Elisa.
Désolée.
She's worked with the likes of Ridley Scott, Jarmusch and Asghar Farhadi. She was the first Iranian actress to star in a Hollywood film after the revolution in 1979 and the first to appear in an Israeli movie. She was also in Pirates of the Caribbean. Welcome to the show, Golshifteh Farahani. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, you're here to talk about your new film, Arab Blues. It's about a woman who returns to Tunisia from France to set up a psychoanalyst practice after many years away from her homeland. Do you think we all need therapy, Golshifteh?
Yes, especially I think a country after revolution, it needs therapy, especially as some characters, they say in the movie, everybody talks, but there's no one there to listen. So definitely people, they need to be heard, and she's there first to listen to them.
And in the film, there's this resistance, though, about this idea of having therapy, with your character fighting to get her profession recognised, from her family members who say, no one's going to come, they're kind of mocking you, but they do come, and many people come. And what do you think the message of that film is?
Well, I don't think it's a very popular thing, even now in Tunisia today, in the popular area, to have a psychologist. And of course, everybody resists everything, especially her with her look, with her, they say, the short hair, curly hair, with the tatoué, like they all call her, like, what are you? Do you think really people are going to come to talk to you? And then we realize that for sure there's a queue. And everybody wants to talk, everybody wants to be healed somehow, and it works.
Okay, well, we spoke to the director of the film, Manel Labidi. She told us that even though Tunisia has lived through this huge revolution in the Arab Spring, real societal change takes time.
The film talks about how Tunisian society, which went through such a large-scale, spontaneous political revolution, is now trying to rebuild itself. In terms of finding its own identity, its own values. I think the political movement we went through won't be complete until we ourselves go through our own internal revolution, which is now taking off. The film is about how Tunisians are trying to find themselves.
En fait, je suis psychanalyste et je veux ouvrir mon cabinet ici à Zahra. Je voudrais en parler aux clients du salon, si vous me le permettez.
Un cabinet de psychanalyste Tunisia.
Oui.
Et tu crois que ça va marcher?
Oui, les gens ont besoin de parler.
Ah, ça c'est sûr. Surtout nous les Arabes, on parle beaucoup. Mais quand elles viennent ici, les clientes, elles parlent. Mais au moment de payer, elles ressortent, elles ont un brushing beau comme le tien, ou des mèches, ou tu vois. Ou par exemple, le hammam. Elles viennent, elles parlent, elles te cassent la tête. Mais elles ressortent, elles sont toutes propres. Et de chez toi, les gens, quand ils sortent avec quoi?
Ça dépend. Chacun repart avec quelque chose qui lui appartient.
Now, in the film, your character talks about how returning to the homeland for her is visceral, how she can make more of a difference in Tunisia than she ever could in Paris. Even though many people don't understand why she'd ever want to leave Paris to go back to Tunisia. Now, you live away from your homeland, but you once said that you felt freer as a woman in Iran, living in Iran, than anywhere else in the world. Can you explain that to us?
It's very hard to explain things about Iran because everything is such a contradiction in that country. That it's I say I was very, very free in Iran, but at the same time I was free and I had to be free under the table, not on top of the table. Everything should be underground. Everything should be hidden, and when it's hidden, it's very, very free. But the moment it wants to show itself, it cannot be out there. But yes, because also living in countries like Iran or in a crisis, you realize that you live the present moment and there is no tomorrow, there's no yesterday. Whatever you have is this moment, and you enjoy it as much as you can, and you just pay attention to the part of the glass that is, even if it's a drop in that glass, you pay attention to that drop and you are happy with it. At the same time, I'm in exile, I cannot even go back there, and it's all about contradictions. It's all about what we don't really understand about everything that is happening in that country.
Now, you're a huge star back home, even if you can't go back. Ever since your first film, The Pear Tree, when you were only 14, where you played a tomboy and you shaved your head and dreamed of going to live in France one day. Did you always want to be an actress?
Not at all. That's why I sometimes think these roles we play, they somehow, I don't know if we are choosing them or they are choosing us, because at that time I was supposed to go to Vienna, I was playing piano, but that character wanted to go to France, becoming an actress. She loved Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of D'Arc, so it's like, it's very strange how destiny and our life and the movies, they're all intertwined together. We never know.
You worked on so many films. After The Pear Tree in Iran, you worked with directors like Asghar Farhadi. But then in 2008, you did a casting for Ridley Scott for Body of Lies with Leonardo DiCaprio, and it changed your life, but not in the way that many people might have expected it. It's because at the premiere, it was the way you were dressed. Your shoulders were unshown. You weren't wearing the headscarf that is obligatory in Iran. Tell us about the start of that journey that resulted basically in you not being able to go home.
That premiere was the last dot I put after a long sentence, is that the government didn't like me working with the Americans because they were saying the CIA is behind this movie and they want to somehow influence the face of our country and Islam. So I already left Iran when I went to the premiere, but in that premiere it was like, okay, then I'm representing an American movie. I don't need to respect the law of my country, where most actresses, as you see when they come out of Iran, they all have to wear veil, they all have to cover themselves. And then, of course, my life is after Body of Lies and before Body of Lies, and everything changed after that.
And you recently wrote on Instagram, and where you've got a massive amount of followers, 7 million or so, about the profound sadness you're feeling for your country. At the moment, you paid tribute to the victims of the Ukrainian passenger jet that was mistakenly shot down by Iran. As an Iranian artist in exile, you have become a symbol for women in Iran and in the Middle East, and everything you do kind of becomes a political act. How do you feel about that role?
I also see that image that people, they project. I also see Golshifteh. It's like, okay, Golshifteh, but it's not me. It is me and not me. But yes, maybe I have become this symbol because I didn't really give up when everybody were saying the propaganda that if you leave the country, you're going to become nothing. You're not going to succeed. You're going to be used. And I didn't listen, and I chose, and I didn't choose movies just to continue working. I said no to many projects that they wanted to put me in a frame of the Middle East, frame of Iran. I did everything. I played French, witch. I played Spanish, American, Tunisian, Morocco. I played so many things, and I was connected to art mostly, and not to the geographic place I was coming from. Art was lightening my path, and of course I'm coming from that country. My roots are there, so no matter branch is going towards the sky, it's coming from those roots, and I'm connected to all the people in Iran. That is my biological mother, basically, and I have an adoptive mother, France, and I'm very proud of both of them.
Would you like to be able to do an interview when no one asks you a question about Iran?
I'm kind of used to it, you know. In this exile, I always say it's like losing an arm or a leg. You're always living with it. You don't have this arm forever. You are not gonna, even if I go back to Iran, I'm not gonna have another arm. No, it's gone forever. But at the same time, and this is my lost arm, I will talk about Iran for sure. This is part of me. Yeah, why not? At the same time, I'm working in the movies where there's no word of Iran. It's art. I'm here because of that. So that is my life. It's art, and I'm connected to that. I'm working in that field for the people of my country too.
And France is, as you say, your adopted country, but you've worked all over the world, including in the United States, with Jim Jarmusch, in Patterson, with Adam Driver, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Body of Lies. You're working on a series there at the moment. Would you ever consider relocating to Hollywood?
Not really. I am, as long as I am born in Iran, and now I'm the child of Europe. I love Europe. I want to be in Europe. I believe in Europe, and I believe in this profound culture. I'm well here, and I think I found my little cabin somewhere in the nature, and I think I'm very happy in Europe, and I'm gonna stay here.
What can you tell us about the series you're working on now?
Well, the Americans are so much about confidentiality that even the name of the series is a fake name. So I let them to announce everything they want to announce one day.
Okay, Golshifteh, it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to leave you with a clip from your new film, Arab Blues. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
C'est ton père? Alors c'est ton grand-père. Sa tête me dit quelque chose. Khouenji, frère musulman.
Il est juif.
Juif? Ça va pas, toi? Hein? Rode بالك, hein? Tu vas avoir des ennuis avec les voisins.
C'est mon patron.